What are the ingredients which are at work when you have this process of birth of an idea? Nobody really knows how the idea comes to you, but we have quite an idea of which are the ingredients which are needed to make this thing happen. And I will enumerate 7 ingredients. First ingredient is documentation. Libraries can be electronic libraries, can be physical libraries, but anyway, some ways to know what has been done in the past, because there's no such thing as a scientist doing things from scratch, from nothing. You always build on the contributions from the past, being using the result or using the ideas or using the spirit. Second ingredient is the motivation. This is the most elusive and the most important at the same time. There are some spectacular examples of remarkably good scientists who do nothing because, well, good in the sense very strong to solve problems, but they're just not motivated. And more generally, people think as motivation as the number one threat of science in Europe. Because if you don't have all the young motivated people doing science, who will do it? Immigration, by the way, is super duper important in science, in part because immigrants and their sons and daughters and grandchildren are often very motivated people who have to climb the social ladder, and it's no surprise that this occurs. But motivation can also come from anything. I remember I was watching this animated cartoon as a kid, finding this so fascinating. Donald in Math Magic Land. The power of education and inspiration at a young age is impossible to overestimate. This at the left is a paper published in Biology Letters and written by a bunch of kids from school, together with some researcher. And they devised these experiments, the kids, and found how motivating and fun this is. 10-year-old children having their paper published in a science journal. Third is environment. In any period of life of the world, let's say, there are some environments which are favorable to birth of ideas, to innovation. Often the city is a good unit for that. You know, at some time it was Persepolis, the most innovative city in the world. At other time it was Paris. At some other time it was London. At some other time it was Budapest, and so on and so forth. There's no such thing as isolated mathematician. Creativity needs environment and something that is ecosystem. My job as director of Institut Henri Poincaré is to help maintaining this ecosystem within the walls of the institution. The next thing is communication. Environment is the key to have the new idea of the new project. But then when you want to pursue the project, you need the communication. It can be of people from different environments. In recent years, Tim Gowers ran some amazing experiments in which hundreds of mathematicians can collaborate together on proving a single theorem. That may be one form of scientific research in the future, or of creative research in general in the future. As in the software industry, we know that 3 softwares are massively collaborative. The next ingredient, which is so important for creativity, is the constraints. And that sounds as an oxymoron, or it's like a contradiction. But many of the creative people will tell you if you have no constraints, you have no creative ideas, no creation. Because the constraint is what forces you to get beyond the obstacle. Here are 2 constraint pieces, which I put to illustrate and also to show that it's not just science, but any creative business. One is this piece by Jürgi Ligeti, in which only A's have been used, and still you don't get bored when you listen to it. And this is La Disparition, in which Georges Perec, it's this thick novel without the letter E. Crazy constraint leading to a new way of talking, kind of. The next ingredient is the mixture of alternating inspiration and meticulous work, as Poincaré has described us. And the final ingredient is the mixture of luck and tenacity. Okay, let me use this cool block picture to recall that science is not a linear process. It's a very messy, very tricky process. We learn in school science is theory, experiment, conclusion, theory. Wow, that's not the way people work. The way people work looks like this: accept challenge, do science, find out somebody does it, instrument breaks, not as expected, amazing results turn out to be crap, what the hell is going on? No, doesn't, yes, yes, oh, I understand, no, this is funny, oh, they figured this out 50 years ago, and this we start again and again and again, and that's, imagine this, the hundreds of thousands of mathematicians, the millions of scientists worldwide engaged in this process, each on their side, but also all together, running this in interaction. It's a crazily complicated process. And this is for Poincaré, the last word, la pensée. Thought is like a lightning strike in a long night. But it is that lightning which is everything.